So hot sauce, herpes, and nasal decongestant, and prostitution, and a sandwich.
That's episode 14 for you. I wish that...
Friends from Craigslist.
We are friends from Craigslist.
Woo! Ooh, that was fire! Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. My name is Matt. I'm one half of the sandwich. I'm a piece of bread that I'm part of the sandwich. I don't know. It's episode 14. What's up, Grace?
I think that makes me the other side of a what might be an empty sandwich. Because just now it's 2 slices of bread and I
feel like our sandwich, like it's a good sandwich. All right, so I think our sandwich, it's a Reuben or a Cuban. It's something. It's one of the ones with the ham and the cheese, and there's mayo, but it's like spicy. Oh no, not mayo, mustard. There's mustard, and it's just a little spicy, and it gives you a little bit of a kick, and you're not sure if you like it or if it's like expired, but it's there. There's a little something in there.
That makes sense, but a little that you can't see it, so you weren't like fully expecting it. So when you bite it, you do that like, ooh, okay, like kind of moment. Because
you didn't see that there was a cat in the deli, or like you saw the cat, and it wasn't really close to the deli, but like you got it at a bodega, so you're not quite sure the quality of meats.
Right. Yo, the other night, I was, speaking of bodegas, craving Zaragosas. Like, nobody's business.
Dude, I will say...
I was just like...
don't
tell me they're gone.
They're not gone, thank God.
Good.
But I will say, since you left... Since you've been gone... Since you left, I have had it with Hope, and I do remember... it is exactly as we remember, where it's really good in the moment, and then the next day,
But like,
it's one of those
most things,
burritos.
Most things, like, okay, all right. So younger years, that regret to eat ratio, you definitely like all in. The moment was worth the repercussions, like both the repercussions weren't as bad or as long, but I definitely remember, as a kid eating plenty of Taco Bell and Papa John's and having rough days the next day, but still gladly going back.
Yeah.
Now there's way more thought into, I remember I love Taco Bell, but I really don't know that that's what I want to deal with. So... But I think, and maybe I'm wrong, because I haven't had it in a while, that Zaragosas for me, still the risk outweighs the consequences.
I agree.
But I don't know.
No, it does. It does. When you come back into the city one day, we're gonna go for sure. And it's good. And I also realize, Jesus, like
some apple horse box.
Dude, well, okay, Horsebox is gone. Horsebox, the bar.
I know.
Yeah, now it's something else. It's called like Sam's Place or something. Like weird. I hope it's like the same bar.
You just go piss on the side of that building.
I think you told me to do that when I first told you. Yeah, I think you said, "Hey, it's gone. Go piss on it." Yeah, please share your opinions.
Because I'm emotionally hurt about it. What is this little tiny cup you're drinking from?
Oh, you like my little espresso cup? I've got, all right, so Hope brought the Nespresso that I purchased for Hope for her birthday now lives, oh no, it's Christmas? It's something. I purchased her an Nespresso, now it lives here, so it's been an experience. I feel like a classier individual.
Isn't it nice when all your investments come back to one?
It's a little bit of ROI,
Yeah. That's like that. Yeah.
So now I feel like a classy individual. I had slept like shit, so I'm like, you know what? Let me have a little bit of this espresso, get the energy back in. Let's make it happen, and hear about your opinions on things. I have opinions on things as well. I want to hear your opinions on what you wanted to be opinionated about.
All right. So it's sort of in the theme of things hit different. And that whole like Lesbehonest getting old sucks.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, actually, to
stuff
your
hits
point, when you were
different.
talking about the burrito, dude, I eat something bad, like Zaragoza's is okay, but like I eat something bad now and I'm like, dude, my intestines are on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe TMI,
I'm
but
pretty
like,
sure I developed being like lactose intolerant. Like I think I developed that. And I'm like, what is this? I'm not like, come on.
yeah. No, I feel you.
Like
Sorry.
I love cheese. And I'm gonna keep eating cheese and I'm gonna deny that anything has a problem, but moral of the story, things hit different.
Mm.
And I don't know if this is an age thing or a COVID thing that because I'm calling it the social hangover.
Okay.
So you have your alcoholic hangover, but now what I noticed is I get a social hangover. What I mean by this is we went out on Saturday for the first time in a year and a half. Like we've been one of those not going out COVID people. We see our family who also only see us. We, potted with them. At most, we'd have like one or two people over outside, and that's been the extent of our social interactions. So this past weekend, we're all vaccinated. They're all like all the people were vaccinated, and it was outside, like all COVID, come at me, bro, whatever you're gonna do, whatever. But there were like 15 people. Like it was a birthday party. It was a party.
Okay.
So you had multiple groups to talk to and like convene with and like interact with and socialize. And we were there for like 8 hours. And I swear I'm still exhausted. Like I am still, and we drank, but like I wasn't was not like hungover, but I was like socially, like my legs were tired from standing, from talking to people. Like I lost my voice because just talking so much, even though my day consists of talking and meetings. It was a different level of talking. It was a social talking. It was a constant talking. And I was exhausted. And I'm telling you, I still think I'm making up like just exhaustion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 4 years later.
Dude,
like,
well, it's so different. It's so different from work because like work, you're almost on autopilot. You know, like your thing and you're going to like go do this, whatever it is. And you're talking about a certain thing. But then when it's social and now social cues are totally off. I know I feel it too. Like I haven't done anything yet necessarily, but like outside interaction with people that I haven't interacted with during this like whole time is going to be nuts. And I see it for myself. Dude, like I've been working out, so my I feel good, my body wise, but then going for a walk or just being on your feet or whatever, like for an extended amount of time is sort of different than working out, right? Because you're doing a bunch of different shit.
Oh yeah.
But I notice it too, man. Like, yeah, my feet start to hurt, and it's weird, dude. It's like I feel like I've been like in a coma for a year, physically and like emotionally.
Like, I don't think it's an age thing. Like
no.
I don't notice. I literally think COVID has instilled the notion of this social hangover. And again, there's the alcoholic where the head hurts and the vomiting and that. But now there's the social, which is the lack of voice, the legs and feet hurting, and the exhaustion from just having to be be on. Like I'm not used to having to be on, like whatever at that level. Like I'm used to Netflix and TikTok on my phone and eating with no shame and in my pajamas. Like I haven't had to fit into jeans in a year and a half. Like this social aspect, it's unreal. And like, let's be honest, I'm not that, because I'm a social person, and I don't want it to hurt for a date. I don't want that to be on the same level of me contemplating if I want Taco Bell this weekend. Is how is it going to affect me the next couple of days? Like,
Yeah. No, dude, it's weird now. It's totally weird now, and it's like you're not used to it. So it's like the opposite, right? So before all this shit, we would probably, or we would go out, often enough. Maybe we wouldn't drink as much because we were getting older or whatever. And now it is that weird thing of like it's opposite day. So now like you go out and I know for sure are like a very social, active person, and as am I. But now it's going out and be like, hi, rather than like this is just normal. This is like a thing, right? Just talking to other people, mingling. Now it's like how do I do this?
Yeah.
And it's everyone's like it's that shit that I hate that people used to put on like dating profiles, like I'm an extroverted introvert, and I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. But like now I understand in a way because like we are extroverted people, but don't know how to pull it off now because we haven't had to practice.
I know. Well, yeah, we don't know how to play our own game anymore.
We're like that weird kid that was homeschooled for a long time and then finally goes to like a normal like high school and everyone beats him up.
Yeah, pretty much. Except everyone went to homeschool. It's like a reality show where they put a bunch of homeschool kids in a public school together, and how do they react?
Right? It is like a freaking social experiment, man. It's so weird. And then you see all the people, or you see people on TV being like, oh, take time for yourself, and, like saying, like trying to get through your brain that this isn't normal. But like you disregard it because you're like, what is this, a fucking self-help book? Like I don't need that shit. And then, but then you're in the situation and you're like, oh, this is weird. I don't like this. Also, what party were you at for 8 hours? You can't pay me. 8 hours.
You say that, but like,
was it a good party?
No, it was a blast. Like it was an accidental 8 hours because it just you get there at around 2, and then it's one of those. It was got them around 4, and it was like the perfect timing. You're like 2 hours and they feed you. So then you're like, you eat. Okay. And then you're like good to go from like 6 to 8. And then they were put the fight on. So then you had an activity to do. So it was more of that aspect. But
so they were good hosts. That's what I'm getting from this. Because when I go to a party and they don't have food or just like any little thing, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? This is a fucking Auschwitz?
But that's I was gonna say it's your Jewish side that makes you want always like a hosting.
I want a little something.
So funny. I grew up, and if I ever went to a house and they didn't have I came home like as a kid and they didn't have food out or offer food, and my mom was like, "Oh, so they're not Jewish?" And I was like, "Yeah, because you don't go to a single house, a Jew's house, if they don't say." Hey, let me feed you. Let me send you home with a brisket. Let me do all this. Then it's not a
right. That's why I appreciate
it was a blast. Wouldn't change it for the world. Like had a wonderful time. It was so good to get out again. But like recovery time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very similar now. Like. You could even draw the line to like drinking when you get older, right? Because if you drink a lot, you're like going to be hungover the entire next day and maybe like into the next after that morning. And now it's the social, like you said, social hangover of like, man, like I don't want to I don't want to record a podcast today because I just talked so much to these random fucks yesterday. And now I don't want to talk anymore.
I know. And like that wasn't us. Like we're very like we were, out on every night. Not even to drink, just because we liked being out.
Hang out, yeah.
In that environment. And now it's like I literally we came home and so that's like a once a month thing because that's I think all we can handle.
Dude, now it's like, and I feel like when we've gone out, we haven't gone out to social things yet. COVID and also no friends. But other than that, now it's like don't don't fucking look at me. Don't fucking talk to me. But it's not even because of COVID. It's just because I don't know how to respond to you. Like, I don't know how to do the. It's like when you go out. It's like when you're dating. Like, let's say you got out of a relationship a long time ago and you haven't dated someone in a long time. Then you go out on that first date. It's probably going to be pretty shitty. But then as you get out, you know.
How are you? They're like, how are you? I'm like, I like pasta. And they're like, okay.
How are you?
I like pasta.
I like pasta. It's like,
Dude, but that's what it is. It's so fucked up. I was taking this in a when you told me what you wanted to talk about today, and you said the social hangover. It reminded me of the Netflix documentary about social networks, and so I thought you were going that way, and I fully loaded my arsenal with social network things, and now that it's not, I'm fucked. So we're just flying by the seat of our pants.
well, did you want to? Is this a pivot moment, or are you leaning in?
I kind of like sitting in. I like sitting in the mess I've made now. It feels good. But I will say, my only pivot part, just because it's getting super dark recently with social media and like my mental state. So like social media for me, I just wanted to say, social media to me is like being a prostitute. Okay, so like I have to do it because I need to do it for from let's say for money and for exposure, but like I don't like doing it. So bear with me here. So you putting out.
Can you confirm that all prostitutes don't enjoy it? I bet some prostitutes enjoy it.
I'm like, all right, I'm like the classy prostitute that got saddled with the fat guy. Like I was hoping for like a Clooney.
Hear the fat guy tries the hardest. So
I hear that they have great personality. But okay, so I've been getting really dark recently of like the whole like, all right, we're putting out lots of videos, putting out lots of content, and this for me, for us, for this thing, for my music, whatever. And then it's like, all right, well, now is it just like a prayer that someone sees it, and then you like push it out, and you try to get other people to see it because we're still in a pandemic, things aren't normal still, and then is it worth doing that, or should I be doing something else? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? And I'm like, fuck, and getting real dark about it. And just before we started this podcast, I was just scrolling through Instagram because that's my thing. I got the TikTok, but I'm not a scroller through of the TikTok yet because I'm personally offended that like when I click on it, the sound happens automatically, and sometimes my phone is loud, and sometimes it scares the shit out of me. So I'm more of an Instagram scroller as to not scare the shit out of me. And I saw like I follow Billboard. Billboard music, even though now I have qualms with all of this, but they were like, one of the, it's like, Taylor Swift's outfit at the the Swifties, which I guess is Taylor Swift's fan club, think that her outfit at the Brit Awards is foreshadowing a new record. And I just thought was, shut the fuck up. I'm so, like, how many times people talk about COVID from the news to your friends, to your parents, to us, and you just don't want to hear like COVID, or you don't want to hear you don't want to hear the term wear a mask again, right? Because you have to wear masks, or like if you go to the grocery store or whatever. Yeah. I don't want to hear more about Taylor Swift. I appreciate her. I don't listen to her music because it makes me, want to hurt myself. But like, I'm so sick of that shit. And I'm so sick of hearing about artists, not aside from Taylor Swift. I'm just so sick of hearing on social media about the same artists over and over and over and replaying the fucking tape over and over and over. Like, give me something fucking new. I put out a video on TikTok today on my personal page that was like, hey, where does everyone discover new music? Because I'm also putting out there to feelers because I want to know, for me. Yeah. But I also see myself doing it all the time where I stick to what I know a lot and I don't necessarily go out to discover new music. But like, I'm just so sick of the same fucking people and hearing about the same fucking people. Because they're
which
not
is
even that.
interesting because I
Yeah.
feel like, well, I think it's interesting you say that because I mean, I am not in the music world, so I'm not following music. But I was going to say, I would think the opposite because there is no, it's not like when we were growing up where there was the four bands. Like now it's all about, well, maybe that's why you only hear about Taylor Swift because there is no brand anymore. There's only songs. So like Billboard, you know, doesn't have a Tuesday afternoon article about so-and-so's one-off song because it's just a popular song. What they have to talk about is the couple of people who have followings like Taylor Swift and that's it. Like who else? Bieber. Or I think you probably can hear a little bit about him.
Right.
You know, like who are the main people who have followings because there is no new up and coming artist. There is a lot of new popular hit songs, but then that's making everyone lean into, oh, well, I'm still a so-and-so fan. Like, cause they like being fans.
I think
we need new, well-rounded artists to take over the scene. That's the problem.
But then, I won't take up the rest of the time on this podcast talking about my qualms with becoming an up-and-coming artist and being discovered. And all right. I won't go there. We'll save that for another one. But going back to what you were saying about the social hangovers and the unsure of how to navigate social situations in a way, like you still present yourself, but like you're not necessarily like, you're not like, oh yeah, like let's do it. Like I'm ready to be social and talk to everyone and whatever. Like maybe you're not as gung ho. I know I'm not as gung ho. Like I'm excited about socializing, but maybe not. Maybe not as gung ho as I was before because I'm just not comfortable. But I'm recording some new music at the end of May. Very excited about, and I got to send you the demo. But I fear that I'm not gonna know how to talk to the record label in a professional manner because I've gotten so accustomed to a few things, and I've gotten so accustomed to being so blunt and so dark about shit that I feel like I'm just gonna be like, hey, fuck. Hey, you fuck.
So, maybe don't lead with that. That's a good start.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I think I've gotten like there are days where, and I'm sure you feel the same, and I feel like everyone has gone through this time, like through the pandemic, of days of like, oh, I'm great, everything's fine. Do you feel that more just through this whole experience that is still ongoing?
Oh yeah.
Days are just like,
oh yeah,
like cool, yeah, and days are just like, yo, fuck,
Yeah, and everyone around me and everything can just go crawl in a hole and bury itself because I'm not dealing with it. 100%.
And I've been just like, I've been trying to be laser focused, right, on what I got, on things, just things in general, right?
It's also really hard to be focused these days.
Yeah, it is. And there's days of focused and feeling just like I got so much done and I've gotten better and I've forwarded myself in any area, right? Work and professional and whatever. And then there's days of like, fuck, man, I'm not going anywhere. I'm a failure, And so...
Yeah. And there's also days, have you had these where you're like, motivation level is in the net? Like, I never, like, necessarily, I wasn't always motivated, but I never felt like negatively motivated, like so unmotivated that, like, I don't know, like I'm double unmotivated. Like,
yeah, dude. I mean, I've caught myself in times, dude, like Googling like other careers that I would be good at, like, yeah, I completely understand, dude. But I feel like at the end of the day, we just sort of make it work, right? Like when you go out to your parties or not parties or hangouts, whatever, chill, like fucking hangs. Like it's like there's like part of you, I'm sure, when you were going out too, is like part of you is like a little nervous because it's like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. It's like when you don't fuck in a long time and you're like, oh man, I go too fast.
Got it?
Yeah, do I still got it?
Yeah.
But then there's also a part of excitement, right? Because you're like, oh man, I get to socialize. I get to, you know, but then you just make it work even when you're there. And I've seen it with like Hope's friends. Hope's like teacher friends came over a while ago, and it was equal parts excitement and nerves just to like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
But also like I get to do this. And then it's just like COVID, I think. Like you have those swings, right? Like I'm sure you had that too.
Yeah.
Like throughout the day, you're like, all right, I need a break from talking, chit chat, and oh, okay, cool. This is a cool person, and I know I want to catch up, and then okay, thank God the food's here. I want to stop talking now, and so I understand the social hangover because fuck, man, like even after
I think it's new. I think it's new. Like I know there's always been people who are less social and social anxieties and stuff like that. That's always, been there. But I feel like this notion of like social hangover is when you put everybody away from each other in a box for so long and then open the doors and, like coming out of the woodwork there. And you try and you're on, but then you're like can't, and then it's emotional battles and everything carries over because before you're a lot of times the other thing you're alluding to this where I could go out and whatever happened during the day separate. Like I want to be out, I can be focused on that, but because hasn't been that separation and your day turns to your night and your work turns to your night and everything just sort of blended together over the last year and a half. You go to these gatherings and you bring it with you. So you ebb and flow because you're tired and you don't feel like talking and you're still out of it. Like you can't, like, it's all there. It's always like, how do you have those moments back?
It's like building up a callus again, right? Like it's like you're soft, and like you're socially soft. And so you just need to start exposing yourself to these social situations, and then you're just like, oh, it's just another thing. But I think that there's like a lot of that shit that we're gonna have to get back to like norm about. Like I know that if I go back and have a like normal job, answering to like a superior, I could like, all right, I just finished this web series, right? And the director that I was working with, it was a good dude to work with, thank God, because the last one was very challenging to work with, and even that, like, again, not a superior, but like someone you're working with that's also paying you, so you're also like, I'm going to listen to you, and take your direction. It's your project, but like even just like the most like little minute things, I found myself just being like, yo, fuck, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, oh, you're the fucking guy that's paying me, so I should shut the fuck up. But just like little things that you're just gonna have to like get back to, like figuring out. Even just, dude, I find myself so like I used to be taking cabs, up and down, to visit Hope, to whatever, and now the idea of taking the train. I feel like I'm a lazy piece of shit because I don't want to like walk to the train because now I'm accustomed to like taking cabs everywhere, but my bank account is not very happy about it. So I'm like $275 sounds a lot better than $43. But like it's just like the little things like that I think just like you get pigeonholed in, and then like you said, you're exhausted after it. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I just went through the ringer. When in reality, you sat somewhere and spoke to people for,
That's right. You did nothing. Yeah.
Like you did this, but just like sitting, like if I was sitting in front of you, so, we'll get there.
Yep.
I definitely want to dive deep. I want to dive deep on this hypothesis next week. If you're into it. Well, actually, you know what? I'll save it because then if we don't go there, I think we'll be letting people down because it's that good. I don't want to say that.
All right. So
I don't
that
want
just
to.
means
You
keeping
know,
back more, wanting more.
keep them wanting more. Make sure, everyone, that you email us at friendsfromcraigslist@gmail.com. So we'll talk about your Lesbehonest topics and give you our opinion on them. And yeah, keep checking out the Instagram, the TikTok, the YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are like herpes. Okay, we just show up. You can't get rid of us.
Prostitutes and herpes in this episode.
Yeah. And we'll, depending on how long this pandemic goes, we might give some to you. So, you could take a pill, but it's not going to cure us. Our podcast, it clears out your nasal passages, is what it does. I think that's good.
So, hot sauce, herpes, and nasal decongestant, and prostitution, and a sandwich.
That's episode 14 for you. I wish that...
Friends from Craigslist. We're just going to make a running list of all the things we compare ourselves to. That'll be on one of our merch. Well, Friends from Craigslist, and then just a list on the back.
Hot sauce, prostitutes,
none of it
mustard.
will seem relevant to anyone else. Nope. Nothing. It will make no sense. But for those...
it could be, like was it the Ramones that have the end shirt? This is like Joey, end, da-da, end. But, like that. We'll do that. Hot sauce, and prostitutes, and mustard, and Herbie. All right. Well, episode 14. Thank you for listening. Grace, it's a pleasure to see you. I just want to say, you're the best.
Right back at you, big guy.
We'll see you for 15 real soon. See you real soon.
Real soon.